All right, good afternoon, everybody. We're going to test our microphone here for 1 second. Test, test. If you are on and you can hear me, I'll take a thumbs up. If Melissa is on and can hear me and wants to come out and say that we're good, that would be wonderful. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Colin Pendorf, and I am the gallery curator here for the 567 Center. We are thrilled to have you guys all join us this afternoon for our virtual tour of March's Youth Art Month. This is the 567 Center's 8th year doing Youth Art Month here, and we are very, very excited to say that this year is the biggest and best that we have ever had so far. We have 230 different student works in here this year, and as you will see, the gallery is filled in from tip to tail. So without too much further ado, I'm going to go ahead and hand on over the microphone to the Director of Fine Arts and Magnet Programs for the Bibb County Public Schools, Ben Bridges. Ben, thank you so much.
Good afternoon and welcome. This is a fabulous space to feature our students' work from the Bibb County School District. And so first I would like to thank Melissa Macker and Colin Pendorf for the use of this facility and for the curation of our event today. We are excited because a lot of students, we hope that some students are even able to tune in live now, but certainly when this gets posted virtually, our students will be able to see their work. Of course, you know, we have a huge crowd usually on a reception night for opening night of this show. We're hoping, of course, to be back to that next year, but space constraints and where we are in terms of COVID, we're moving out of that, so we're looking forward to next year to having a live show. So I'd like to first get started by reading a proclamation from our mayor, Mayor Lester Miller. So the proclamation reads, whereas art education contributes powerful educational benefits to all elementary and secondary students, including developing students' creative problem solving and critical thinking abilities, teaching sensitivity to beauty, order, and other expressive qualities, giving teachers understanding of multicultural values and beliefs, and whereas integrating art education into the curriculum reinforces and brings to life what students learn in other subjects, and interrelates student learning in art production, art history, art criticism, and aesthetics, and whereas these benefits of art education from the basis of the world-class standards developed by the U.S. Department of Education and the National Endowment for the Arts, and whereas our national leaders have acknowledged the necessity of including art experiences in all students' education, that support should be given to art teachers as they attempt to strengthen art education in their schools and communities. Whereas now, therefore, I, Lester M. Miller, do hereby proclaim March 2022 as Youth Art Month in Macon-Bibb County, and all citizens are urged to take interest in and give full support to quality school art programs for children and youth. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the consolidated government to be affixed this first day of March 2022, and of course that's signed by Honorable Lester M. Miller, Mayor. Absolutely. That is a great proclamation and a great start to the month of March, as well as Youth Art Month, and of course our fabulous opportunity that we have today to view student work from the Bibb County School District. So Colin, you think we should go ahead and get started?
Let's jump in.
Absolutely. We have, I believe, 24 schools that are represented today, and among those 24 schools, Colin stole my thunder, but 230 pieces of work, if I have counted correctly. So it is our largest show ever in the Bibb County School District's history. And so we're excited to give you a peek at this fabulous student work today. So we'll move right on over. We will start here with some work from McKibbin Lane Elementary School. The lower portion, or I guess I should say the middle portion of this wall, is McKibbin Lane Elementary School. Their art teacher is Lauren Tanner. doing some fabulous work out there this year as artist in residence. So we are thrilled to have her and to have her at Lane, and obviously the students are doing a fantastic job of creating work. We also have on this wall up above and beneath, we have two pieces from Weaver Middle School. Check those out. We've got some, I don't know if these are self-portraits in masks, but they are really awesome pieces. Great use of color, and certainly reflective of the time that our students have been in during this time period of masks and COVID-19 and learning all sorts of things about technology, as well as developing their and honing their skills in their artistic abilities as well. And of course, Lane Elementary School and Weaver are on this wall, but then we move right along to this other wall, and we have beginning of the artwork from John R. Lewis Elementary School. I believe these first two lanes, for the most part, are John R. Lewis Elementary School. And of course, John R. Lewis, their art department is under the direction of Sydney Robertson. She's doing a fabulous job with the students over there. Just check out those pieces. Colin is doing a great job. Then the upper pieces on that first row, or the top piece on the first row, and then as we go down, there are a couple of pieces. There we begin with Sonny Carter Elementary School. Sonny Carter Elementary School also has an artist in residence this year, and we are just delighted to have Ruth Ducharme being that artist in residence at Carter, and she's doing a fabulous job with the students this year at that school as well. Then we're moving on to continue with Sonny Carter Elementary School in this line. Lots of contrasting works. They've been very active in different assignments and creative avenues for their art students there. And then, of course, that next row, we have also Sonny Carter going all the way up. And then we begin at the top. We are there with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary School. And of course, that art teacher there is Andrew Pack. He's brand new to King this year and doing a fabulous job as well of exposing students to arts and education and honing their artistic abilities. Some very varied projects there. Great use of color. Looks like some work based on the work of Jacob Lawrence. Mm-hmm. So then we'll continue on up this line here. I believe this begins Hurd Elementary School. So I think due to space, we've kind of interspersed schools in order to make all of these pieces fit. Colin has done a fabulous job of that. So at Hurd Elementary School, we begin with, of course, this piece. And the art teacher there at Hurd is Tracy Wheeler. Always submitting artwork. I believe she has some artwork being featured now in the corridor at the airport in Atlanta. Always contributing to competitions. Made sure that a student was represented at the magnet school, in the magnet school poster contest last year. And then, of course, we're moving on to Southfield Elementary School. Colin, I don't know if you caught the one above there. But we're moving on to Southfield. Very proud of the work that is being accomplished there at Southfield in their art room. Check out that playground. That's awesome. That slide has some movement. And of course, we're continuing on with some pieces from Southfield as well. Some geometric designs in there as well. Almost some caricature building there as well. And then it looks like we've got just a few more from Hurd Elementary School. This piece in particular is very interesting in terms of it starts with a student in kindergarten, goes to a first grader, second, third, fourth, and fifth grade, all the way up. So it's very neat when you look at the artistic abilities and the skills that are being worked on, the graded skill levels. It's very interesting. And then, of course, we have some 3D pieces here from Hurd Elementary School as well. A couple of studies based on some classics. And then, of course, we're moving on back to Weaver Middle School. And as we go through Weaver Middle School, you'll see some more masks. Oh, let me not forget this piece. I guess you would call that string art from Hurd Elementary School. A very neat piece. Obviously also based on a classic. Then we're moving on back to Weaver Middle School, and of course you see some more, I suppose, self-portraits and masks. Very interesting self-portraits in the time that we have been in. Some great renderings of those self-portraits. All sorts of mediums. And then, of course, we continue with Southfield. A couple more from Southfield here. And then we're starting with Alexander 2. We have an artist in residence there this year by the name of Woodrow Gray. And so we're glad to have that artist in residence working with our students at Alexander 2. And you know, as we went along the way, I failed to mention, because we're kind of moving from school to school, I failed to mention Mark Hazen is the art teacher at Weaver Middle School. But back to Alexander 2, some very neat, I think there's even a couple of cherry blossom themed pieces. So a lot of hard work is going on in the art department at Alexander 2, Math and Science Magnet School. Looks like they've done a lot of painting this year. Okay, and I think we're ready to move on to some more 3D pieces. So it looks like here we have some more students from Alexander 2. This is continuing some work from Alexander 2. Very interesting what you see at your place at the table. That's entitled Picnic. Interesting piece. And then, of course, we begin some work from Northeast High School. And the art teacher there this year is Mr. Randy Williams. He's doing a fabulous job there as well. He is working in all types of mediums with his high school students. And so you will see both 2D and 3D work from him and his program there. He does a fabulous job of really teaching the students about the history behind art, as well as the techniques that are presented through history. And then obviously the creative renderings are quite paying off there at Northeast High School. Some very varied projects that he has students involved in. Some of those works include those using found objects. And of course, he's quite an artist himself. Featured this month last month in Macon Magazine with his murals. And he also has some murals at Northeast as well. So this is another piece from Alexander II. Of course, again, the artist in residence there is Mr. Woodrow Gray. So they're working in some cool mediums. Okay, so we will move right along to some other pieces. And I tell you what, Colin, I'm going to cross in front of you. I apologize. So it looks like we're going to start Vineville Academy of the Arts here. And of course, you note when you get to the next piece, Colin, that there are pandas. And you know, that is the Panda Nation over there at Vineville Academy of the Arts. And of course, Vineville Academy of the Arts, their art teacher is Tony Sieben Morgan. She's doing a fantastic job. You will see several pieces from their art department. And Vineville Academy of the Arts also had two of the winners from our holiday greeting card contest. That piece was sponsored through the Bibb County School District for some greeting card covers, and so they were well represented at Vineville as they had two of their selections that were chosen. And then, of course, we're going to move on to Springdale Elementary School, and I see that Colin has honed in on a piece of art, the piece of art that was selected for the cover of our art invitation to this very show. It's a very interesting piece. And of course, their art teacher is Cindy Kwan Hong. She is always submitting their work for different competitions, such as the art card competition. They also had a winner for one of the Bibb County School District's holiday card designs as well. And you know, that was a first grader on the cover of our art card this year, so it's pretty amazing. Miss Q, as she's known, Miss Cindy Kwan Hong is that art teacher, and she does a fabulous job of presenting amazing opportunities for students. Now, while we are here, let's take a look at the 3D art pieces. Of course, we have all of these pieces. Let's see. I believe the one you're on now is from Howard Middle School. Miller Fine Arts Magnet Middle School. And then we move right on to Howard Middle School. And then, of course, the sculpture is from Miller Fine Arts Magnet Middle School. And then this last piece of 3D that we have right here, that was created by a student at Rutland Middle School. I'll talk about those art programs as we move along and we get into more of their pieces. So it looks like we're continuing on with Springdale Elementary School. And then we're moving on to Hartley Elementary School, Matilda Hartley Elementary School. And this year at Hartley we have an artist in residence, and that artist in residence is Cheryl Woolfolk. So we're glad to have her there. She's presented some great opportunities for students there, very varied learning opportunities in art. As you can see, the students are really excelling there at Hartley. And I just saw Miss Woolfolk, and she was so excited to have her student work featured here, and she can't wait to come in person to see it. So I told her that we would have this out this afternoon and then posted virtually for her students to be able to see as well. some really interesting mediums that she's been using with the students at Hartley. So we'll move on to the 3D. It looks like we have some pieces here from Howard Middle School mainly. I think all of these are actually from Howard Middle School. So I'll go ahead and talk about the Howard Middle School program. Fabulous art teacher Kayla Brazelton there at Howard Middle does a fabulous job with students. And she's really gotten into some pottery this year with her students, giving them that opportunity this year. So students have really excelled at that in some different assignments based on some historical techniques. She gives her students great opportunities to critique their own work and in front of their peers, and it's really an amazing process to watch. Always participating in shows and opportunities for her students. It looks like here we're beginning Heritage Elementary School, and of course that art teacher is by the name of Chris Cannon. We are delighted to have Chris Cannon there teaching art, and her students are doing an amazing job. We have so many pieces on the wall that it's hard for Colin to reach. But the students at Heritage have been doing an amazing job. If you take a look at those pieces that Colin was just featuring, she's giving her students some amazing assignments. They're really teaching them some great techniques. And I believe that they brought home all 3 of the winners for the fire poster safety contest as well this year. So really taking advantage of those opportunities for her students. Miss Cannon at Heritage really is promoting her art program by submitting work to those contests as well. Okay, then we're starting here with Williams Elementary School. Now take a look at these pieces, some really cool pieces. We have an artist in residence there at Williams this year, and she is doing an amazing job. Her name is Charlene Lockett, and of course she is an artist herself. Many of you may recognize that name. She goes as Char Lockett, but she's giving her students an amazing opportunity, teaching them about art and making sure that they have some really interesting projects along the way. And as you can see, they're very varied, and several of them you can see her own style of art coming out in her students. So she's really doing an amazing job. We are glad to have her at Williams Elementary School. And the kids, when I went over to pick up a couple of pieces the other day, the kids were in there working, and they love going to art. And those, I believe, are fashion models up there at the top, Colin.
I love them.
I love them too. And then, of course, I believe there's a couple more here from Williams. Maybe 3 there. And then at the top, we have a couple from Vineville Academy of the Arts again. Such amazing color use. And then we're moving on to Rutland Middle School. So this will give an opportunity for us to talk a little bit about Rutland Middle School. Of course, you can see the varied assignments and projects, but their teacher is Tyler Staten. He is new to Rutland and new to the Bibb County School District, and we are delighted to have him. One of the most intellectual individuals that you will ever speak with, and he really is carrying that across to his students with the different projects that they are incorporating. And actually, he's teaching for our summer camp coming up this summer for the Bibb County School District. So those students participating in that camp will have an amazing opportunity to learn from him. But we are wall-to-wall art here. And so we will move on. Did you get these pieces, Colin? Excellent. Okay. So we will move on to the work from Miller Fine Arts Magnet Middle School. Of course, this work is under the direction of Mr. Jaquavius Hunt, who is also doing an amazing job. They recently closed a show that was open for a production at the Douglas Theater. He also presented a work for the Magnet Schools of America poster art contest last year, and it made it in the top 10 or so for voting, and so really proud of the work that's happening over there at Miller. They are working on a fabulous puppetry contest now. And of course you see a couple of pieces there that are from a unit that he did in preparation for the show at the Douglas. And of course those are reminiscent of the Black Arts Movement and that unit. And of course there's an artist statement there beneath as well. Such great unit teaching that is happening there at Miller Fine Arts Magnet Middle School. So I guess we're moving on now to Ballard Hudson Middle School. So Ballard Hudson, you see some fabulous use of color. And of course their art teacher is Justin Brown. Justin Brown does a great job with them in presenting some varied opportunities in art. That one is one of my favorites. I just think that is really awesome. Mm-hmm. And still continuing on with Ballard Hudson Middle School. We have some large pieces this year, Colin. Mm-hmm. So here's some more from Howard Middle School, some of their 2D pieces. Again, under the direction of Kayla Brazelton at Howard Middle School. And this is another piece from Ballard Hudson Middle School. And check out these 3D pieces. I happened to be out at Howard High School in Mr. Gillies' classroom when they were working on these pieces. And so the kids were so engaged. They loved the process of making these, and obviously they turned out beautiful. They did a great job. And of course, that's Howard High School, and their art department for these particular ones, I believe, is Mr. Michael Gillies. They have 2 art teachers there. So one is Michael Gillies, and the other is Courtney Bath. So they together teach different classes and expose those students at Howard High School to many different opportunities as well. So now we're moving on to Appling Middle School. Appling Middle School, their art department, their art teacher is doing a great job. She is a first-year teacher there at Appling, and that is Tamika Phillips. And she is also one to take advantage of submitting her student artwork. I believe she also has some artwork hanging at the Atlanta airport as well. And I failed to mention that also Heritage Elementary School also has some pieces at the Atlanta airport as well. So, but back to Miss Phillips at Appling, giving her students opportunities and taking advantage of those competitions. That's one of my favorite pieces there, Colin. Such varied projects there that she's exposing them to at Appling. So we are glad to have her at Appling Middle School. And I believe we're starting here with, this is a piece from Rutland High School. And of course, Rutland High School, their art teacher is Miss Rebecca Bell. So you can check out that collage, what that bench sees in the course of a day. All of the people to come and sit. It's actually not in the course of a day. It's the piece is called 60 Minutes. That's 1 hour, Colin.
Learning math, huh?
But her students always produce great work. And then, of course, this piece you're covering now is a piece from Southwest High School. And that piece, of course, is one of two teachers at Southwest High School, their student. Their teachers are Alexian Irby Jennings and Lauren Evans. So they too are also giving their students some great opportunities in artistic expression and creativity. This piece is particularly well done. The portrait. And then I believe there we begin back with Rutland High School. Some additional creative projects. The detail is amazing on that. And then I believe that those, the top are all Rutland High School. Miss Bell does a great job with her students, stretching them. We are literally chair rail to ceiling with these 230 pieces of art. So it's hard for me to get my bifocals to work right to make sure I'm calling the schools correctly. And then this next line, we're coming to Westside High School. And of course, Westside High School, their art teacher is Keely Dodson. She has been out there for several years, and she is doing a great job. And obviously, we appreciate the students and their hard work and their efforts from all schools, because certainly they have worked hard for this show. But I work with a great group of teachers. Hardworking, dependable, great instructors. I'm blessed to work with such a great group. And I think those are the ones from West Side. The piece there on the left is just Has so many dimensions to it. And I believe that one is also another one from Southwest High School. And then I believe we're continuing on with both Southwest, that is Southwest on that one. And then West Side, another one from West Side as well. And then check this out, Colin. We have another one from Howard High School. I suspect that is from Mr. Michael Gillies' classroom as well. Just really an amazing piece. I wouldn't mind taking that one home with me.
If it goes missing, I won't tell anyone.
Yes. Still Life, Southwest. And I believe these are, this whole line I believe is, no, we do have a couple that are beginning with Central, the one at the bottom. So now we begin with Central Fine Arts and International Baccalaureate Magnet High School. The work there, of course, is under the direction of their two art teachers at Central. We have Mr. Ladarius Chester and Miss Janisa White. Miss Janisa White also is also entering different contests and competitions always. She has a plate full there at Central with all of the preps and classes that she teaches, but she always takes the time to make sure that her students are represented in the contests. Matter of fact, one of her students was selected, their image was selected for the front of a shirt design for the Bibb County School District. And I failed to mention about Howard High School as we went along the way. They also really participate in contests. They had a huge stack of logo designs for our Education Foundation, for the Bibb Education Foundation. And so we're just looking forward to seeing who the winner is of that. But they had some amazing designs from Howard High School. Okay, of course, we're continuing on here with Central, and then we're going on to Howard as well. We've kind of gone back and forth a little bit because of the layout. And of course, that's continuing with Howard High School. That's a really neat piece there. I'm not sure if that is a student of Mr. Michael Gillies or if that is one of the students of Miss Courtney Bath, but it's a Howard High School student. That's a really neat piece. Okay, and then I believe we're finishing up Howard High School here on this wall. Some really interesting pieces from Howard High School. They have a lot of work in the show this year and very well done. And of course, usually the room is filled with students and parents, and of course we couldn't do it without the parents gifting us with their students during the school day to share creativity and artistic skills with them. So we really appreciate our parents of students in the Bibb County School District. And of course, we're grateful for the support of our superintendent, Dr. Curtis Jones Jr., as well as our Board of Education for the Bibb County School District. So, Colin, I believe that we have completed the tour today of both the 2D and 3D works. And of course, we've had our proclamation from our mayor. And of course, we've thanked our parents and our students and our teachers and our superintendent and our Board of Education members for their support, not just during this time of the year, but throughout the year. And so that is felt throughout the year in terms of fine arts instruction in the Bibb County School District. So thank you again, Colin. Thank you again, Melissa Macker, for allowing us to have this wonderful space for our annual student art show in the Bibb County School District. And thank you all for tuning in to the virtual art show today.